system is failing. We're going to have more homelessness, more unemployment, and the government has to print more money. It's a command and control economy where the government tells you everything. I just don't trust our government. And they're going to have to start printing pretty quickly. And the more they print, the less value, purchasing power the dollar has, or the loonie, or the yen, or the peso. People are talking about inflation. I think we're in depression right now, and we're going to be the biggest depression in world history. In the 1970s, that's when the world was changing. The biggest bust in the history of the world is coming up. It's pensions. They trusted the government. They trusted their pension would be there, and it's going to go bust. And that's us. We'd get crushed.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Bearable Bull here. And I got this aggressively average content for you today. And guys, this is going to be an important video to help all of you understand where the future of this digital asset is going. But first, as plenty of you are well aware, this September 29th, Ripple has decided to throw a major celebration for our win against the SEC. And for the first time ever, I will openly and publicly be attending an XRP function. This is going to be a powerful celebration, my friends. And if you haven't done so already, please get yourself a Fuck the SEC or 589 XRP t-shirt, as we're going to be storming New York City as the community that finally gave the hammer to the SEC and caused the domino effect of victory for every single person in the crypto space. We've seen what has occurred with this ETF from Grayscale, and I think as a direct result, we're going to begin witnessing a rollout of Bitcoin ETF approvals. A Bitcoin ETF is going to be the first major catalyst to start the tidal wave of capital pouring into the market. And I can't stress enough how excited I am to finally witness this thing take off. The next crypto bull run is coming very soon, and we have waited long enough. We have major fundamental news coming out left and right that's going to play a major role moving forward for the adoption of the digital asset space. And yet again, Twitter has obtained a license required for virtual currency trade and usage on their platform. Ladies and gentlemen, crypto payments are coming to X, formerly known as Twitter. And every single one of you needs to understand how big this is. Elon Musk is looking to make the everything app, and X will be a global social media / payment platform. Mark my words. If you think he doesn't know exactly what XRP is, you're out of your minds. And there'll be a day where we'll see how deeply ingrained all of this is with each other. Now, from Jack the Rippler, we have Emi Yoshikawa from Ripple, VP of Corporate Strategy and Operations at Consensus Blockchain, stating we are 2 or 3 years away for a massive tipping point of global adoption. But I think before that, we are definitely going to be in for some beautiful price action. Now, guys, I want you all to please take a listen to what she had to say.
Well, I joined Ripple in 2016, so it's been almost 7 years. Not as quite long as Eric, but totally agree, it's quite a journey to date. So Ripple is a leading provider of enterprise blockchain software and solutions, including cross-border payments and crypto liquidity and CBDCs. Well, I want to answer the question by sharing some key insights and data points from the blockchain payments report we just co-published with US Faster Payments Council just last month. It's available on Ripple's website, so please check it out. But for that report, we surveyed about 300 payments professionals across 45 different countries, and to really understand the current adoption of blockchain payments and also the benefits and challenges as well. And what's really encouraging is 100% of the respondents agreed that there are definitely benefits of using blockchain and crypto in payments. And 97% of respondents said they believe that blockchain and crypto will play a significant role in transforming payments in the next 3 years. So clearly, it is no longer a question of if, right? It's more of a question of when and how. When I started working at Ripple 7 years ago, there was still a lot of a skepticism and question of, does the payments industry really need blockchain or crypto? But we no longer hear that question. It's really more about when and how. And in fact, a lot of people here in this industry believe that next 2 or 3 years is going to be a tipping point for mass adoption.
Now that, to me, ladies and gentlemen, is a sign of relief. Relief that Ripple themselves are confident in the adoption of XRP and digital assets as a whole. And this is where we get into the important speculation that needs to be discussed. Zach Rector proposed an interesting idea for what could be announced from this Ripple party. Ladies and gentlemen, let me make myself clear, this is only speculation. But it's something that, if it's true, could very well help us make massive strides in getting any confusion legally out of the way. Despite the fact that XRP has been declared a non-security, there is still probably confusion on an institutional level around whether or not there will be appeals, and there may be a level of hesitance when it comes to institutional XRP adoption. A full-blown settlement by Ripple, or an announcement of a settlement, especially after the massive loss that Gary just experienced, would be a win for Gary Gensler. Regardless of how you want to cut it, that is a fact. XRP will be allowed to move forward. Ripple will be allowed to move forward. Gary can say he's not a complete abomination because he received a big payday. And the XRP community can celebrate without having XRP being shackled as far as price is concerned anymore. Let me know what you guys think about that scenario, because it's also possible that Ripple may be willing to announce a coming IPO as well. Maybe not at this specific party. Maybe it comes in Ripple's Swell Conference. But one of these days, I believe there will be a perfect storm for Ripple to announce an IPO, especially with the coming clarity in this market. There's been a tidal wave of clarity coming left and right, first from XRP and then from Grayscale. And here, I'm going to play this clip from Bloomberg discussing what the likely next steps are after the massive victory Grayscale had over the SEC.
Is ETF analyst James Seyffert to discuss what this means for those other crypto spot Bitcoin ETF applicants. What do you think this means for approval of all of the other attempts that are out there, James?
Yeah, I mean, so this definitely increases the odds of approval for those products. I mean, what we kind of also had this baked in a little bit. I mean, Elliot Stein, who just spoke, we're back in March, right after we heard the oral arguments, me and him went to 70% odds that Grayscale was going to win. So it's nice to be a little vindicated here on that front. But this doesn't mean a guaranteed, as you kind of said at the front, a guaranteed approval of spot Bitcoin ETFs. There are a total of 11 people out there trying to get ETFs that will hold spot Bitcoin, including Grayscale. So Grayscale now is obviously much closer to converting this thing to an ETF, but as you mentioned, it's not guaranteed. We need to see what the SEC is going to do. The SEC had issued statements saying they don't know exactly what they're going to do. As Elliot hinted, they could theoretically withdraw Bitcoin futures ETFs because this was a complete and utter rebuke of every argument that the SEC has made in their denial letters. Basically, what the judges here are saying is you can't make arguments about fraud and manipulation in the underlying spot markets when you're allowing Bitcoin futures ETFs to exist. So this is a complete rebuke of those arguments. The only way the SEC, if they decide to go back And find another way to deny these things is, like I said, like Elliot said, withdraw the futures ETFs or find a different way that has not yet been argued. And the only way to do that I can think of is argue that you need some sort of regulated custodian, have issues with the custodian or settlement of the actual spot Bitcoin, because it needs to be something completely untangled from Bitcoin futures ETFs. But honestly, the easiest path forward here is just for them to approve these things. And the timeline is kind of up in the air, and we're going to wait to see what the SEC does.
That's James Seyfert of Bloomberg Intelligence. Thank you for your time and all of your analysis.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, wasn't that powerful? That analyst from Bloomberg discussing the Bitcoin futures ETF made a great point. Judges are making the argument that how can you have and justify futures without having spot? Futures are a tool that helps short crypto. A spot ETF will be a tool that helps hold crypto and sustain value for it. And in my personal opinion, the SEC has just been manipulating the market downwards with all these tools to help their buddies at BlackRock, to help the billionaires continue to get rock bottom prices. I can't stress this enough, but once these ETFs do get approved, the trillions of dollars of capital that will flood this space will be unprecedented. Here we have from Crypto Cowboy that ex-JP Morgan and current CEO of Grayscale Michael Sonnenstein became Grayscale CEO January 7th after following the SEC's lawsuit against Ripple. Grayscale would then dissolve their XRP trust on January 13th. And the point that's being made here is that the JP Morgan guys are always at the tip of the sword when it comes to stabbing Ripple XRP in the back. We all know JP Morgan and their strong ties to Ether. And this is yet another footnote in the massive list of corruption that ETHgate has brought us. Never forget how we've been treated, because generational wealth is coming our way. Now, ladies and gentlemen, to cap off this video for today, I have a clip from Mickey B. Fresh discussing the introduction of hook sidechains and the XRPL's latest revelation, the Zahu Ledger. Powerful new features include balance rewards, import, escrow and payment channel IOUs, hooks, and native network governance table. Guys, I want you all to take a listen to something very important as far as the technological updates in the future of the ledger are concerned. Because this is going to bring a tidal wave of utility and adoption to our favorite digital asset on the planet. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Bearable Bull here. Thanks for tuning in. As always, I appreciate every single one of you. Now I'll be back tomorrow with another video.
A doorman only allow transactions from known addresses. And then they have like the details then of the piggy bank. Now, this is really, really user friendly. Like this is, and they're making this where all these are verified. So what we talked about with the EVM contracts that you're signing and you don't know what you're signing, this removes all that complexity, and this is at the network layer.
Just like that, I think VT actually plans to have sort of a hook store, or maybe you want to elaborate on sort of maybe that flow.
Yeah, definitely. So if you look at the smart contract world today, people interact with a range of contracts on, for example, what they call a Web3 website, just a normal website, and it interacts with a blockchain and smart contracts there. But if you look at what the signing process looks like for end users, it's not really convenient. So you interact with a contract, you use a website to set something up, and then you take your client, your wallet, and then you see a bunch of hashes, and then you decide to trust that and sign it. It's there's a disconnect between the actual interaction with the smart contract and what you can verify in your client is going to happen. So the way we view this from XRPL Lab, from the sum perspective, is that a interaction with a hook should always, or should preferably be companioned by an XApp or a web app, and the two should work together, where it's almost like an app store experience, where you either install the hook on your account, and that will get the XApp in your wallet, basically, because the wallet sees you have the hook installed, so it shows the UI for that hook, or the other way around, where you open the XApp for certain functionality, and then the first thing the XApp will offer is installing the hook it is for. And this user experience really makes it like Legos on your account. So you get a hook store concept where you say, okay, I want to install the firewall hook to prevent memo spam from coming into my account. I want to install the account protection hook so that if I lose my keys, my family still has access, or the notary can recover access, or there's a admin switch on my account. Oh, and I want to install the savings hook to automatically save a couple of percent of every asset I can specify that leaves or enters my account. And these installed hooks will be hooks on your account on the ledger, but they will also be XApps displayed in your wallet. And the XApp can help with making the things very visible related to that hook. So your settings, what's the savings percentage? What's the block list level? The transactions affected. So your transaction history, but from the hook context. What did the hook do to this transaction? And I don't think we're going to enforce it, but I think it would make a lot of sense for some and other clients to, if they allow you to interact with a certain hook, one, the hook should be trusted, and two, the hook should be accompanied by a proper hook-specific UI. And we're probably not going to be allowed to call it the hook store, because Apple and Google will have their opinion about that. But yeah, that's the direction we're taking.
I mean, that sounds massive, right? And compared to smart contracts people are interacting with all the time and then having their wallet drained because they don't understand what's really happening, and no one looks at code. So this is a massive advantage to the stuff we're having right now across the industry.
What I just shared is something that's going to be live the day the Hooks network is going live, and some is going to be updated to add full hook support. We're going to launch with this concept. So there are going to be a couple of hooks doing the things I just described with a UI, with a shop-like, store-like experience in some. And I hope that's going to raise the bar for other contract and XApp developers.
My family thinks less of me because I told them to buy XRP. And all my friends quit texting me, cause all I talk about's the SEC. When the price rose, it was just like ecstasy, but then it crashed so unexpectedly. Now no one's standing next to me, cause I'd still tell them to buy XRP. Put all my faith in Brett Garlinghouse, and now I do not have a house. Try figuring the riddles out. Now no one knows what I'm talking about, but I still buy my XRP, yeah. You don't like it, you can suck my D, yeah. Buy my XRP. I guess that's just how it goes. Agendas nobody knows, and it's like the things that happen are a part of a show. You either see it or don't, you either will or you won't. But when the price is really low, I fucking back up the boat, and I'ma buy my XRP, yeah. You don't like it, you can suck my D, yeah. Buy my XRP.